They need to understand the history, the past, and why, and the effect it has had, and how sometimes it takes such a long time to get better, to recover, to be on the road to recovery.
You know, we're overcoming colonization, it's now neo-colonialism, the residential school syndrome, Sixties Scoop. Now we're going through child welfare to try not be too dramatic about it, but those have had a really negative impact.
We're, kind of funnel into a concept of being embarrassed about our culture, embarrassed of our language.
It was basically broken by a different value system. And I think that the children being taken away, they didn't know how they were connected to the community, to the people, and that wasn't taught to them.
So in every fabric of our societies, there's been a rendering or a tearing of our makeup, of our cultural fabric.
This garbage that I inherited was not part of my grandmother's traditional camp. We did not punish each other by abuse. These histories, the colonization, the slaughtering of dog-sled dogs, the residential school era, are still very much impacting us today.
The first steps is acknowledging and learning about all of that, and then from there they can go forward with what they feel they need to do.
And I've said this before, I think you have to win over people's hearts before you can win over their minds. You have to understand the history, you have to understand the context to the point where you're open and receptive and willing to take the steps that you need to take.
We need to help our kids be proud to be in school. We need to praise our children more often. We need to build their confidence.
You have to ask students questions. You have to ask parents questions. You have to rely on your elders. You have to rely on your cultural advisors. You have to just rely on parents and be willing to ask questions, but more importantly, be willing to listen.
Communication is very important. Our elders say the more you listen, the more you learn about respect.
We're at a point now where we need to have a better understanding. Justice Sinclair will talk about truth and reconciliation. Before we can get to reconciliation, we need to know truth. And so we made a real concentrated effort to provide PD for our teachers, for our schools, to ensure that that understanding was widespread.
The teachers need support and they need education. We provide professional development to them every month on First Nation, Métis, Inuit information. We do book studies with them all the time. The plan has to be clearly identified. There has to be money put towards it. There has to be somebody strong enough to stand up to those naysayers and say, but it's going to continue.
Connect with people that know what to do, how to begin. It's going to take a while. I'm not going to say it's going to be done in a year or two, but they could begin.